What's up, everybody? It's your boy Benny D, and I am very excited today because I bought another car. This is my new car. It's a 1990 Nissan 240SX S13 hatchback, and basically my plan for this car is to be my drift car. I've always wanted to get into drifting ever since I got into cars. When I was 15 years old, I saw a video of Ryan Turk drifting his 1JZ S13, and from that moment I knew I was destined to get a 240. I just haven't ever had the time or the money at the right time to get a 240SX, but I finally was able to pick one up, and this is probably the perfect definition of a Craigslist 240. It does have problems, but it does run, it does drive, so let me show you around the car. I picked this thing up about a week ago. Guy on Craigslist sold it to me, and it came with a decent amount of extra turbo parts. And if you guys want to see more on this car, definitely subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be making a ton of videos on this thing. I'm going to be turbocharging it. The car does not have the best paint job. It is actually rattle can blue. The previous owner did it, and he did not put enough coats on the car. You can kind of see it in the light. It just looks weird because he didn't primer it before he painted it, so there's just red left underneath, and there's red in the door jambs. But you know, it's just a 240, man. It's a definite 240. It is got the stripped rear interior. It is a drift car. I mean, it's got nothing in the back. It's super loud when you're driving down on the freeway or anything like that. You get a ton of road noise. This car did previously have a cage in it, so there is surface rust down here, but it's not that big of a deal, I don't think. I'm probably just going to spray some grape spray paint over it. The car does have some things on it which really are going to help me out for getting into drifting. It does have a hydraulic e-brake. It's Willwood, but the handle kind of looks eBay. Another thing is it's not an inline setup. It's actually dual caliper. It has dual Z32 300ZX brake. And it does have big 300ZX front brakes on it too, so this thing stops really good. For the wheels, it's got some XXR 968s, I believe. I don't know, I think they look good. I don't plan on getting any new wheels anytime soon. They'll definitely work for me. Stance Boy camber on it. I actually like it. I like the front's amount of camber. I'll probably take out the rest of the camber in the rear. The main reason that I bought this 240 instead of the other couple ones that I have looked at, it has clean rear quarter panels. And that's just super cool. It's kind of rare to find on a 240. Usually they have dented up quarter panels or they've been wide bodied. I don't plan on wide bodying this car. I do want to get a Type X kit for it. I think that looks really good, but it still looks close to stock with a Type X kit. It does have an ISR 3-inch catback exhaust on it. It still has the catalytic converter though, which I find is very funny based on everything on this car. Hydraulic e-brake, you know, it's totally set up for drifting, but it still has a cat, so I find that pretty damn funny. So I'm gonna pop the hood and show you guys what it's got under there. It's nothing special. It's just a typical 240. Here it is in all of its glory, dual cam KA. This car is a 1990, so it has been swapped for a dual cam. The car has 193,000 miles on the body, but I'm honestly not too sure on the engine. I do plan on compression testing it and changing the oil today. It was converted to a shark nose front. It originally was a pig nose because it was 1990. I kind of prefer the shark nose, but it doesn't really matter to me. I like both of them. As far as modifications, it has cold air intake, not really much else, pretty much a stock KA. I love this ruler mod, look at this. It's a ruler holding the air intake on the car. I think that's pretty cool. I'm definitely going to keep that there until I go turbo. The engine bay is painted gold. I think that's really ugly. If I do ever end up pulling this engine out completely, I'll definitely paint it a different color. Mine that I'd probably go with would be like a purple with some flake in it, because I still want to keep this blue paint. I'm going to be painting this car myself, and that's going to be an adventure, but the paint's so bad that I feel like, you know, give it a shot. I've never painted a car before, and I feel like this would be the perfect opportunity. I don't feel like you could do much worse than what the previous owner did. Roof is Scotch brighted. He removed the blue. I have no idea why, but I'm probably just going to paint this black because I like when the top is black on 240s. It has a NRG quick release and an NRG steering wheel, and the steering wheel, man, it is crap. It needs to be replaced ASAP. The whole center thing moves. This is very dangerous to drive, but I got to get around for now. I do plan on getting a new steering wheel. I'll have a video on that. It has a ISR short shifter, and it's okay. The only thing is it has play. left and right. So when I'm at high RPMs, it really just makes this loud, like, vibration noise, and it's kind of sketchy, but I mean, it's whatever. It's a 240, right? Has no radio. I did order one. It should be here, and I'll be installing that. I don't have any of the plates that go in here, so we're gonna have to fix something up. It doesn't have front speakers. The previous owner said it was removed for weight reduction, but so I need to get new front speakers. It's still wired up for it. Okay, so it's story time. I've had this thing for a week, but it's already left me stranded. Kind of due to my fault, I think, maybe. So the thing is, with the hydro e-brake, it wasn't working at all when I bought the car. One of the O-rings in the middle of one of the calipers was actually leaking, so it just leaked all the fluid out whenever you tried to fill it up. So I went over to Johnson's and got an O-ring, fixed it, and it stopped it from leaking. So me and my brother bled it, and I guess we put too much fluid in it because I was driving, and when I used the hydro e-brake, about 5 minutes later, I started noticing that it felt like I was braking, and I was like, what the hell's going on right now? Slowly over the next minute, my rear tires completely locked up. The hydro had completely seized. So I'm sitting on the side of the road, and I'm like, well, shit, how the hell am I supposed to get home? We popped the bleeder down there, drained out all the fluid. Shout out to Parker Lehman. He burned his arm on my exhaust getting down there trying to undo the bleeder. So, you know, it's definitely a 240, man. It's already left me stranded more than the Fox body has. In case you guys haven't seen my other videos, I own another car. It's a 1988 Ford Mustang Fox body 5.0. It's a 5-speed. We just put a new transmission in it, put a new exhaust on it. Both of those are on the channel if you want to check out those videos. Here it is. I have all 4 of these Cobra wheels. I just need to put new front tires on the ones that go on the front, but those are going on soon. I pretty much just switched between this thing and the 240 as my daily for the last week. I just switch off whichever one, you know, I'm working on. I drive the other. This thing gets about twice the gas mileage of the Mustang, but this is my brother's car. It is a 3rd gen 91 Camaro Z28. It's a G92 code, so it's got full leather, everything, all the options you can get on this thing. It's actually really, really cool, but I might end up having some videos on this thing if he ends up doing anything to it. He might end up selling it and getting a different car. He hasn't really decided yet. But yeah, so you might see some of this thing on there if this interests you. Got any Chevy guys out there. Suspension goes for the 240. It has D2 coilovers. It's decently low. The back, it's weird. It's got some rake going on. It has way more space in the back than it does the front, but it's weird. And it's also got some weird caster going on. I'm probably gonna mess with the suspension. I do want to lower it a little bit in the back just because the back's higher than the front and it looks weird. It does pretty much scrape on everything already. I can't get in the driveway because it just high centers the frame, so we're gonna have to figure that out. I don't have a low pro jack. Every time I want to jack it up, I gotta, you know, drive it up onto some blocks, but I mean, it works for now. I'll end up getting a low pro jack pretty soon. Another cool thing about this 240 specifically is it has a crackless dash. It's pretty rare. I mean, all the 240s I've ever seen in person have had a cracked dash. You know, it's got a stripped rear interior, but it's got a crackless dash. It has pretty damn good door cards, you know, like these things are good. They don't really have any damage on them. They don't have the speaker grill covers or anything, but they're honestly in pretty dang good shape. The passenger seat is in mint condition. Driver's seat, not so much. I'm definitely gonna get a different seat. I want to get some racing seats because that's really, for now on this car, as far as handling goes, the limit is just me falling out of the seat. It's already got coils. It does have some decently stretched tires. It's got 205s on a 17x9, which, you know, for me, personally, I've never owned a car with stretched tires or anything. I love the look, you know, how it has the rim just coming off from the tire. It's not the most practical, obviously, but I think it looks cool. Just look at that. Camber life, bro. The thing I love about the coilovers is they have adjustable dampening. Some cheaper coilover brands don't have that, so even when it's lower, I can still have a good ride. It's a stiff ride. I'm gonna be honest, it's way stiffer than any car I've had, but the only cars I've had were Fox body. The first car I ever owned was a 1996 Pontiac Sunfire GT. You know, not a cool car, but it definitely got me where I needed to be for the first 2 years of driving. And thank you, brother. He's mowing the lawn, so if you guys hear the lawnmower in the background, that is why. So the second car I got was actually the first kind of sports car I got, is a 2005 Mazda RX-8. I'm actually wearing a Mazda Speed t-shirt right now. That thing was fun. It did have some problems. The clutch blew out on me actually on the way home from buying the car, but I had that thing for a little bit over a year. It was okay. It handled good, but it wasn't that fast, and honestly, for modifications for that thing, it was pretty expensive, and to get that car to where I wanted it to be, it would have taken a lot of money. So I ended up selling that thing, and that's when I picked up the Fox body. And I got that thing on the side of the road for 900 bucks. It was just like a swing of the thing. I saw it locally. It was in the same town I live in, sitting on the side of the road, and I was like, I'm swooping this thing. So I bought that. You know, we've been working on that thing. I got some videos on the channel about that thing if you guys want to check it out. And then after that, just bought the 240. So I've only owned 4 cars, but that's a decent amount for a 20-year-old kid, you know. It's got a welded diff, and I have some experience driving with a welded diff. My buddy has a 240, or he used to, and I drove that thing around with the welded diff. But it's interesting, man. I've already gotten so many looks from old people, man, pulling into the gas station, just chirping while you're, you know, turning real fast to get in there, and they're just looking at you like, who the hell is this kid? What is he doing, you know? And then they see my car, cambered wheels, lowered, loud exhaust, you know? It's just the way it goes, man. They're gonna hate. Compared to all the other cars I have, I get so much more attention in this thing from people. They're just like, hey man, nice 240, bro. You know, it's just cool. I love the car culture, man. It doesn't really matter what you're into. There's always going to be someone that is interested in what you're doing on your car. I'm going to show you guys some of the flaws for this car as far as the body goes. There's not too much, but right here on the front fender, it's got a little bit of, you know, damage or something. I don't know. It's not completely flush here, but maybe when we repaint it, we could address that, fix it a little bit. Not too big of a problem though. And the other main thing it has is this front fender and bumper don't line up here. There's a pretty dang good gap. This bumper does sag. There's no bumper support in the car anymore. So we might also address that when we paint the car. Might try to fix that up. The headlights work. Everything works on the car. Me and my brother did end up messing up the fuel gauge when we took out the fuel pump to do the gasket. So the floater is stuck in the up position. So, you know, it's a little optimistic on how much fuel I have. It always says I'm full. Another problem this car has is it just arrived in the last couple days. Wasn't happening when I bought the car, but it sometimes has trouble starting. It feels like it doesn't even, you know, like the starter's not even engaging. The starter might just be loose in there. I don't know. I haven't checked it. I'm gonna try to start it up for you guys. Come on, girl. See, look at that. And, you know, I mean, it starts up, but I don't like that, you know. I definitely want to fix that. I'm not trying to get stranded in this thing. It is going to need a new tranny mount because if I'm driving at a decent speed, this thing's just flopping around. It also needs new motor mounts. Every time I start up the car, the whole car shakes a little bit, but that's not too expensive, and Juku's got pretty good deals on that stuff. It's got exhaust leaks also. I'm pretty sure the cat has a leak, but we'll end up fixing that. The car also doesn't have a headliner. It doesn't have a sunroof either, which is pretty rare on a 240. At least all the ones I've seen, they have sunroofs. This is base model. It's got no power options at all. It does have power steering still. Thankfully, man. I hate not having power steering. I'm really looking forward to giving this car some boost, letting her really scoot, hitting the drift track, you know, going up to Evergreen, hitting the open drifts, you know, trying to get better at drifting. I have a couple street spots around some local warehouses that me and my buddies hit, so I'll have videos on going there. And the weather's just starting to die down. It's going to start raining, so it's going to make it a lot easier for this thing. Since it doesn't have too much power, I'll be able to drift it pretty good in the rain. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more on this car, more on the Mustang and the Camaro. You guys have a good one.